My name is Sarah Mitchell. From the outside, my life looked perfect. A handsome husband, a beautiful home, a smiling face in every photo. People thought I was lucky. People thought I was happy. But no one knew what happened after the doors closed. No one knew how afraid I was. Every morning, I woke up before the sun. Not because I loved mornings, because I was scared. Scared of being late, scared of making mistakes, scared of making him angry. I slipped out of bed quietly and went to the kitchen. The house was silent, but my heart wasn't. It was beating too fast, like it was always running from something. I started making breakfast: toast, eggs, coffee. Everything had to be perfect. When one slice of bread burned slightly, my hands began to shake. I threw it away quickly. "No, not today," I whispered. I made another. I checked the plates. I cleaned the counter. I fixed the chairs, over and over again, just in case. Then I heard footsteps, slow, heavy, coming closer. David was awake. "Is breakfast ready?" he asked coldly. "Yes, just 1 minute," I replied, forcing a smile. I placed the plate in front of him carefully, like I was placing glass, like it could break any time. He looked at it. His face changed. "Is this all?" he asked coldly. "I thought you liked eggs and toast," I said softly. He slammed his hand on the table. "Don't think, do what I tell you." My body froze. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "Sit," he ordered. I sat, quiet, small, invisible. He ate in silence. I watched every move, every breath, every expression, waiting. When he spoke, my heart jumped. "The house is dusty," he said. "I cleaned it yesterday," I replied without thinking. He looked at me sharply. "Are you talking back?" "No, I'm sorry," I said quickly. He stood up, put on his coat. Before leaving, he said, "My boss is coming tonight. Don't embarrass me." "I'll make everything perfect," I promised. He laughed. "You always say that." Then he left. The door slammed. I collapsed onto the chair. My legs felt weak. My hands were shaking. I walked to the mirror, slowly lifted my sleeve. Bruises. Old ones, new ones, fading ones, all mixed together. I covered them with makeup, with clothes, with lies. I smiled at my reflection, a fake smile. "You're fine," I whispered. "You chose this." Tears rolled down my face. Once I was happy. Once I believed in love. I remembered how we met in college, how he used to hold my hand, how he promised to protect me. "I'll always take care of you," he had said, and I believed him. That was my biggest mistake. Now, every night, I cried silently, so no one would hear, so no one would know. That evening, his boss was coming. I didn't know it yet, but that night would change everything. That evening, I cleaned the house until my hands started shaking. I wiped the same table 5 times. I arranged the cushions again and again. I polished the plates until I could see my tired face in them. Not because the house was dirty, because fear doesn't let you rest. Fear keeps whispering, "Do more, try harder, maybe today he won't be angry." I kept checking the clock. 6 o'clock. 6:15, 6:30. David would be home soon, and his boss would be with him. I wore a long-sleeved dress even though it was warm. Long sleeves hide many things. They hide bruises, they hide pain, they hide truth. I started cooking dinner early. Chicken curry, fresh bread, salad, dessert. Everything David liked. Everything he demanded. My hands were shaking while cutting vegetables. I accidentally dropped a knife. It hit the floor with a loud sound. My heart almost stopped. For a moment, I stood there, frozen. Then I picked it up quickly and whispered, "It's okay. It's okay." But I knew. Nothing was ever okay in this house. At exactly 7 o'clock, the door opened. David entered first. His boss followed. Mr. Williams, a kind-looking man with gray hair and gentle eyes. They were laughing. David looked confident, charming, perfect. The Emin everyone admired, the monster only I knew. I walked forward and smiled. "Good evening, sir. Welcome." Mr. Williams smiled warmly. "Thank you, Sarah. Your home is beautiful." I felt a strange pain in my chest, because he was praising a prison. We sat for dinner. I served food carefully. I watched David's face closely, every bite, every expression, searching for signs of anger. At first, everything seemed fine. They talked about work. They laughed. David praised my cooking. "That's my wife," he said proudly. "She takes care of everything." I smiled. Inside, I felt empty. Then it happened. Mr. Williams picked up his glass and said, "David, you're lucky. Sarah is wonderful, supportive, patient, strong." Strong. That word changed everything. David's smile disappeared for a second. Just 1 second. But I saw it. I always saw it. After dinner, I went to bring dessert. My hands were still shaking. While placing the plates, one spoon slipped. It fell. It made a small sound. Not loud, not dangerous. Just a spoon. But in David's world, small mistakes were big crimes. He looked at me sharply. His eyes were cold. "What are you doing?" he asked. I whispered, "I'm sorry." Mr. Williams laughed gently. "It's okay. It happens." David didn't laugh. He stared at me. "Pay attention," he said quietly. I nodded. "Yes." After the guests left, the house became silent. Too silent. No TV, no music, no noise. Only danger. David closed the door slowly. He turned to me. His face was no longer polite, no longer charming. It was dark, empty. "Did you enjoy embarrassing me?" he asked. I shook my head. "No, I didn't." He grabbed my arm, hard. Pain shot through my body. "You dropped a spoon in front of my boss." "I'm sorry, please." "You made me look weak." "I didn't." He pushed me. I hit the wall. My head hurt. My vision blurred. "This is what you do. You ruin everything." Tears fell from my eyes. "I try so hard." He laughed, a cruel laugh. "Try harder." That night, I cried silently on the bathroom floor, holding my knees, biting my lips so no sound would come out, because crying loudly made things worse. I looked at myself in the mirror. Swollen eyes, red skin, fearful face. I barely recognized myself. Where was the girl who dreamed? Where was the girl who laughed? Where was Sarah? I had become a shadow, a quiet shadow living beside a man who controlled my breath. The next morning, David acted normal. He always did. He drank coffee, checked his phone, adjusted his tie, as if nothing happened, as if I hadn't cried all night, as if he hadn't broken me again. Before leaving, he said, "Don't be dramatic. You know I love you." Love. He called this love. After he left, I sat on the bed for hours, staring at the wall, thinking. For the first time, a dangerous thought entered my mind. What if I leave? It scared me. I had no money, no job, no family nearby, no confidence. He had taken everything. But the thought stayed. Small, weak, but alive. A tiny light in a dark room. And I didn't know yet that something would happen that would force me to choose between fear and freedom. A few days after that night, David told me I had to go to the grocery store. He gave me a list. Long, detailed, exact brands, exact quantities, because in his world, even shopping had rules. Before leaving, he warned me, "Don't waste time and don't talk to anyone." I nodded, like always, yes. Outside, the air felt different, free, fresh. For a moment, I forgot how to breathe slowly. I walked faster than usual, enjoying the feeling of being away from home, even if it was only for an hour. At the store, I moved quietly between shelves, checking the list again and again, afraid of making a mistake, afraid of choosing the wrong thing. While picking up a packet of rice, my hand started shaking. Suddenly, it slipped. The packet fell. Rice scattered on the floor. People turned to look. My heart started racing. I whispered, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry." I bent down quickly, trying to clean it myself. My hands were trembling. Tears filled my eyes. I felt stupid, weak, broken. Then someone spoke. "Hey, it's okay. Let me help you." I looked up. It was a woman, around my age, warm eyes, soft smile. She was wearing simple clothes and holding a basket. She knelt beside me and started picking up the rice. "You don't have to be scared," she said gently. "It's just an accident." No one had spoken to me like that in years, not with kindness, not with patience. I couldn't answer. My throat felt tight. After we cleaned the floor, she stood up and handed me the packet. "I'm Emma," she said. "I see you here often." I was surprised. No one ever noticed me before. "I'm Sarah," I replied softly. She looked at my face carefully, not in a rude way, in a concerned way. Then she noticed my sleeves, long in summer. She noticed my nervous hands, my lowered eyes, my weak voice. She hesitated, then asked gently, "Are you okay?" That simple question broke something inside me. No one had asked me that in so long. I forced a smile. "Yes, I'm fine." She didn't look convinced, but she didn't push. Instead, she said, "If you ever want to talk, I work at the community center nearby. I'm there every afternoon." She wrote something on a small paper, her number, and gave it to me. "Just in case," she said. I stared at it. No one had given me their number in years. Friends had slowly disappeared. David made sure of that. When I returned home, I hid the paper inside my wallet, between old receipts, between forgotten things, like hope. That evening, David checked the groceries, one by one. Brand wrong, too expensive. Why only 2 packets? I apologized. Again. Later, while he was asleep, I took out my wallet. I looked at Emma's number. My hands were shaking. I thought, what would I even say? "Hello, I'm abused"? "Hello, I'm scared of my own husband"? It felt impossible. Days passed, but I kept thinking about her. Her voice, her kindness, her question, "Are you okay?" One afternoon, David was late, very late. I didn't know where he was. I sat alone in the living room, feeling empty, lonely, invisible. My phone was in my hand. I opened my wallet, took out the paper, stared at the number. My heart was beating fast. What if David finds out? What if she tells someone? What if I regret this? Then I remembered the bathroom floor, the bruises, the fear, the broken mirror image. And for the first time in years, I chose myself. I typed the number, my fingers hesitated, then I pressed call. It rang once, twice, 3 times, then she answered. Hello? My voice shook. Hi, this is Sarah from the store. There was a pause, then her voice became warm. Sarah, I'm glad you called. Tears filled my eyes. I didn't know why. I just whispered, I don't know who else to talk to. She replied softly, You can talk to me. And at that moment, for the first time in my marriage, I felt not alone. After that phone call, Emma and I started talking more. Not every day, not for hours, just small messages. How are you today? Did you eat? Are you safe? Simple words, but they meant everything to me. No one had cared like that in a long time. One afternoon, Emma asked if we could meet. At the community center, she said. Just for tea, no pressure. I was scared. Meeting someone without David knowing felt like a crime. But I told him I was going to buy medicine. He didn't question it. He rarely cared where I went, as long as I came back. The community center was small, quiet, warm. There were children drawing in one corner, old women talking in another. Life was happening there, normal life. Emma was waiting near a window. When she saw me, she smiled. Hi, Sarah. I sat across from her. My hands were folded tightly. She ordered tea for both of us. For a few minutes, we talked about normal things. Weather, prices, traffic, safe topics. Then she looked at me seriously. Sarah, I want to ask you something, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to. I nodded slowly. Does your husband hurt you? My heart stopped. I felt dizzy. My ears started ringing. No one had ever asked me that directly. I laughed nervously. No, why would you think that? She didn't argue. She gently said, You flinch when someone raises their voice. You apologize even when it's not your fault. You hide your arms. You look scared all the time. I looked down. My eyes filled with tears. I couldn't speak. For years, I had locked everything inside, put walls around my pain, pretended it didn't exist. Now someone had knocked on those walls, and they were falling. I'm fine, I whispered, but my voice broke. Emma reached across the table and held my hand. You don't have to protect him here, she said. You're safe with me. Safe. That word felt strange, foreign. I took a deep breath, then another. Then I started talking. Slowly, carefully, like walking on broken glass. He gets angry easily, I said. If I make mistakes, he shouts. She listened quietly. He checks my phone. He decides who I talk to. He tells me what to wear. I swallowed. Sometimes he pushes me. My hands started shaking. Sometimes he hits me. The words felt heavy, like stones in my mouth. Once they came out, I couldn't stop. He says it's my fault. He says I make him angry. He says no one else would want me. Tears rolled down my face. I tried to wipe them quickly. I'm sorry, I shouldn't cry. She shook her head. No, you're allowed to cry. I continued. I try so hard. I cook, I clean, I stay quiet, I obey. My voice cracked. But it's never enough. I finally lifted my sleeve, showed her my arm. Old bruises, new marks, fading pain, fresh wounds.
Emma covered her mouth, her eyes filled with tears. "Oh, Sarah." For the first time, someone looked at my injuries and didn't blame me, didn't ignore them, didn't excuse them. She believed me. "He tells me he loves me," I whispered, "after hurting me." Emma said firmly, "That is not love." Those words hit me hard, because part of me still believed David, still believed it was my fault, still believed I deserved it. She held my hands tightly. "You are being abused," she said gently, "and you don't deserve this." I cried harder. Years of pain poured out. Every slap, every insult, every night of fear, every moment of shame. I told her everything. When I finished, I felt empty, but lighter, like I had dropped a heavy bag I'd been carrying for years. Emma gave me tissues. She waited. Then she said, "Sarah, there is help. There are shelters, there are counselors, there are laws to protect you." I shook my head. "I can't leave," I said quickly. "He'll find me. He'll hurt me more. I have nowhere to go." She looked at me seriously. "You're stronger than you think, and you don't have to do this alone." Before leaving, she gave me a small notebook. "Write everything," she said. "Dates, words, injuries, photos if you can." "Why?" I asked. "Because one day," she replied, "you may need proof." Proof. I had never thought about that. On my way home, I felt different. Still scared, still trapped, but now someone knew my truth, and that changed everything. That night when David shouted at me for forgetting salt, I didn't cry. I remembered Emma's words, "You don't deserve this," and a small voice inside me whispered, "Maybe she's right."
After talking to Emma, something inside me slowly changed. Not suddenly, not loudly, quietly. Like a small seed growing in darkness, I started noticing things. How David controlled every minute of my life. How he decided when I slept, when I ate, when I spoke. How he never apologized, never felt guilty, never cared. And for the first time, I stopped asking, "What did I do wrong?" I started asking, "Why am I still here?" I began writing in the notebook Emma gave me. At first, it felt strange, like betraying him, like breaking a rule. But I did it anyway. January 12th. He shouted for 20 minutes because dinner was late. January 15th. He grabbed my arm, left marks. January 18th. He threw my phone. Every word was painful. Every memory hurt. But it also made things clear. This was not love. This was violence. I started hiding small amounts of money, nothing big, $5, $10, from grocery change, from old coins. I kept them inside a small box under the bed, wrapped in a scarf, like a secret treasure, my escape fund. I memorized Emma's number, in case David broke my phone. I also memorized the community center's address, just in case. Every just in case was a step toward freedom. I began keeping copies of important papers, my ID, marriage certificate, health card. One by one, I slipped them into an old bag in the closet, behind winter clothes, behind forgotten shoes. David never looked there. He never thought I was brave enough to leave. Sometimes that thought hurt. Sometimes it helped. David started noticing small changes. I wasn't as quiet, not as broken. I still obeyed, still apologized, but inside I was stronger. One evening he said, "You've been acting strange." My heart jumped. "What do you mean?" I asked carefully. "You're distracted. You don't look at me the same." I forced a smile. "I'm just tired." He stared at me, long, hard, like he was trying to read my thoughts. "Don't hide things from me," he said. "I would never," I replied. It was my first lie to him, and it felt powerful.
He became more controlling. He checked my phone more often. He asked where I was going, who I met, why was I late. He even started driving me to the store, waiting outside, watching, like a guard, like a hunter. I knew he sensed something, danger, change. One night he said, "You need me, you know that, right?" I nodded, yes. Inside, I whispered, "No, I don't." I met Emma secretly once a week, always with excuses. Doctor, medicine, market. She helped me plan, slowly, carefully. Never rush, she said. Safety first. We chose a shelter, a place far from my house, a place David wouldn't know. They gave me their number, their rules, their timing. They said I could come any time, day or night. All I had to do was call. I packed a small bag, just essentials, clothes, documents, some money, notebook. I hid them inside an old suitcase at the back of the closet. Sometimes at night I opened it, just to look, to remind myself freedom was real, not a dream, not a story, something I could touch. But fear never left me. What if he finds out? What if he hurts me? What if I fail? Some nights I almost gave up, almost tore the notebook, almost threw away the bag, almost chose comfort over courage. But then I remembered my bruises, my tears, my lost years, and I kept going. One evening, while David was at work, I stood in the bedroom, holding my escape bag. For a long time, just standing, my heart beating fast. This was it. Almost. Soon. Very soon. I didn't know yet that my biggest test was coming, and it would decide everything.
The closer I got to leaving, the more dangerous everything became. Fear followed me everywhere. In the kitchen, in the bedroom, in my dreams. I started sleeping lightly, waking up at every sound, every movement, every breath of David beside me. One evening, I came home 10 minutes late, only 10, because the bus was delayed, because traffic was heavy, because life happened. But David didn't care. He was sitting on the sofa when I entered, lights off, only the TV glow, waiting. "Where were you?" he asked. "Bus was late," I replied softly. "Lie," he said. My heart dropped. "I'm telling the truth." He stood up slowly, walked toward me. "You think I'm stupid?" he whispered. I stepped back. "No, I would never." He grabbed my wrist, tight, painful. "Who are you meeting?" he demanded. "No one." "Then why are you changing?" I couldn't answer, because the truth would kill me. "I'm just tired," I said. He pushed me against the wall, hard. My head hit it. Stars filled my eyes. "You belong to me," he said. "Remember that." That night, he checked everything. My phone, my bag, my drawers. I watched silently, praying he wouldn't find the notebook, praying he wouldn't open the closet, praying he wouldn't see the suitcase. My hands were cold, my body was shaking. Then he found it, the notebook, hidden under clothes. He held it in his hand. "What is this?" he asked. My heart stopped. I couldn't breathe. "It's just notes," I whispered. He opened it, read, silently. His face changed, from anger to something worse. Rage. Pure rage. "You're recording me? You're planning something?" I was just writing." He slapped me, hard. I fell to the floor. My ears rang. My face burned. "You're trying to destroy me?" he screamed. "I would never." He kicked the notebook away,
Who told you to do this? Who is filling your head? I stayed quiet. I couldn't say Emma's name. I couldn't put her in danger. My silence made him angrier. He dragged me up by my arm. Answer me. I'm sorry, please. He threw me onto the bed. I give you everything, he shouted, and this is how you repay me? Everything. He called fear everything. He called prison home. He locked the bedroom door, took my phone, took my bag, took my freedom. You're not going anywhere, he said, ever. That night, I truly thought I might die. He paced the room, shouting, blaming, threatening. If you leave me, I'll ruin you. I'll find you. I'll make you regret it. I lay there silently. My body hurt. My soul hurt more. At one point, he grabbed my neck. Not tightly, not enough to kill, enough to scare, enough to show power. You are nothing without me, he whispered. I closed my eyes. In my mind, I said goodbye to Emma, to the world, to myself. But suddenly he stopped. He stepped back, breathing heavily. He looked at me, then turned away, slammed the door, left. I stayed frozen for hours, not moving, not crying, not breathing properly. When I finally stood up, I looked in the mirror. A dark mark on my neck, red eyes, broken skin, broken heart, broken life. I realized something then. If I stayed, I would die. Not today, not tomorrow, but one day he would go too far, and there would be no return. That night, while he slept, I made a decision. No more waiting, no more fear, no more maybe later. I was leaving, even if it killed me, because staying was already killing me.
That night, I didn't sleep. I lay beside David, staring at the ceiling, counting his breaths, waiting for the moment when he would fall into deep sleep. My body was in pain, my neck still burned, my heart was still racing, but my mind was clear. For the first time in years, I knew exactly what I had to do. At 3 a.m, his breathing changed. Slow, heavy, deep. He was asleep. I slowly sat up. Every movement felt loud. Every sound felt dangerous. I stood, tiptoed to the closet, took out the hidden bag. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped it. I paused at the bedroom door, looked back at him, the man I once loved, the man who almost destroyed me. I whispered, "Goodbye." Not for him, for myself. I unlocked the door quietly, walked through the dark house, opened the main door, and stepped outside. The cold air hit my face. It felt like freedom. I walked fast, didn't look back, didn't stop. At the corner of the street, I called Emma. She answered immediately. "Sarah? I'm leaving," I whispered. "I'm out." "I'm coming," she said. "Stay where you are." 10 minutes later, her car arrived. When I sat inside, I broke down. I cried like I never had before. Not from pain, from relief, from survival. She drove me straight to the shelter. It was a simple building, no luxury, no beauty, but it was safe. They welcomed me, gave me clothes, food, a warm bed, and something I hadn't had in years: peace. The first night there, I slept without fear. No shouting, no footsteps, no threats. Just silence. Gentle silence. In the following weeks, I started healing. Slowly, carefully. like a wounded bird learning to fly again. I met other women, stories like mine, different faces, same pain, same courage. We shared tears, we shared strength, we shared hope. I began counseling. At first, I barely spoke. Then, one day, words came out. Anger, sadness, guilt, shame. I learned something important. None of it was my fault. Not the shouting, not the bruises, not the fear, not the years I lost. I worked with a lawyer, with Emma beside me. I showed my notebook, my photos, my medical reports, my truth. David tried to contact me. He sent messages, threats, apologies, promises. I didn't reply. A restraining order was issued. For the first time, the law stood with me, not against me. I found a small job at the community center, helping other women, listening, supporting, understanding. Every time someone cried in front of me, I saw my old self, and I told them, "You will survive this." Months passed, then a year. I moved into a small apartment, 1 bedroom, 1 window, one peaceful life. I bought my own furniture, chose my own curtains, painted the walls light blue, the color of calm. Every morning I made breakfast slowly. No fear, no rushing, no shaking hands. Just me, living, smiling, healing. One day I stood in front of the mirror. No bruises, no hiding, no pretending. Just Sarah. Stronger, wiser, free. I whispered, "You did it." Sometimes memories still came back. Nightmares, doubts, scars, but they no longer controlled me. They reminded me how far I had come. Today, I share my story, not because I am proud of my pain, but because I am proud of my courage. If you are listening to this and living in fear, please know this. Love should not hurt. Love should not control. Love should not break you. You deserve safety. You deserve respect. You deserve happiness. I was once trapped behind closed doors. Now, I live in the light, and my life has just begun.